Ohio gozaimasu. I'm Crazed.
I'm literally.
I'm Niji.
And welcome to...
We
The
Simpin.
Dai Sanjuichi wa.
That is episode 31.
The big 3-1.
Yeah.
And we just did our whole winter lineup last week.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with. Even with us, just cherry picking some things out. It's so much.
But we're not going to talk about the winter lineup anymore. Not this episode. I mean, sort of. We're still going to talk about something. And that topic today is Love Through a Prism review. I think when we were talking about it last week, we realized we needed to talk more about this show to the point that we needed to make this a whole review. Because obviously Netflix dropped this thing 20 episodes and we all watched it now. And we have a lot of things that we want to talk about on it. So we're going to dive into that in the main topic. But
first, we should get started with our personal Weebly updates.
What's our personal Weebly
We should
updates?
start with Miki.
Okay. Well, obviously catching up on all of the winter stuff just takes a lot of time already by itself. And then... Well, as I told you, I watched a lot of Oshinoko also as well, trying to catch up to that. But then I got almost to the end of season 2, and it was so good that my husband heard me talking about to myself how it was so good, and was like, wait a minute, if it's a really good anime, you gotta share. So now I'm rewatching it with him in English, which is an experience.
That is awesome.
And then, yeah, other than that, I played even more of that semi-visual novel game that I told you about last time of Long Live the Queen. It basically is a visual novel, except for that you have to teach the princess certain things with classes, which heighten certain stats, which allow you to make certain choices or have certain events happen. So I was doing a lot of walkthroughs of exactly what to do, because I was like, wait, there's so much story that I'm missing and I don't know how to get it. So I did a lot of that because it was so fascinating.
That is awesome.
And that's my update.
That's a good update.
Literally?
Okay. Well, since I mentioned last time I had a book reading goal, I figured I would maybe keep you guys updated through the year on how I'm doing on that.
Yeah, it's your resolution.
Yeah, it's my resolution.
Oh, that's cute.
So far I've read 2 books. I just started my 3rd.
Halfway there.
Halfway there to 52.
Why exactly did you choose 52 again?
One a week.
Wow.
Obviously. Well, we'll see. We'll see how many you
We'll see how many I get to.
And it can even be manga and stuff,
It could, but I told myself I didn't want to count manga because that's an hour read.
I get
it feels
that.
like cheating.
I get that. I understand.
Too many pictures. Cheating.
Too pretty.
Less words, more pretty. Doesn't count.
But on the more Weebly side of things, I finally started playing Red Bell's Lament again.
You went back.
I went back. I have a goal to finish that visual novel, hopefully soon. However, I forgot so many things about the story, and I just jumped right back in. So I'm trying to figure it out along the way. But everything is beautiful, and I'm working towards a good ending. So
finally,
you know what
you kept dying.
What should
you know what we should do?
What?
We should have you play one of your visual novels where Crazed and I do the voices for all of the other female and male NPCs.
That would be fun, yes! And you guys should, make the decisions.
No,
Yeah.
you make the decisions. That's the whole point. You're playing, and
Yeah,
we're the
you
NPCs.
Well, if I have trouble making a decision, then I could consult you guys, though, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's true. We would be your spare brains. Yes.
Excellent. I have so
Parallel
many
minds. That's the I was looking for the term in my mind from So I'm a Spider, So What? It's parallel minds, not spare brains, but whatever. Tomato, tomato.
It works. I like it. So, Craze, do you have a Weebly update?
The only thing I can remotely think that is Weeby is we got sponsored by Square Enix over on our gaming channel
Ooh.
to play Final Fantasy VII Remake for the new console releases because it was been buried on PlayStation and PC for a while. It finally came over to Nintendo Switch 2 and Xbox Series X and S. I don't know why I have to say it like I'm being sponsored right now, but that's what we were doing. But yeah, this is my first time ever playing the remake. This is the first time Witchley's has ever, seen the game because she's never played the original either. I haven't played the original since God knows 20 plus years ago. It's that old. I mean, it's from 90. I think it's 97 is when the first one came out. 7.
The only Final Fantasy game aside from online that I've played was the original Final Fantasy 7.
Wow.
where you like, and I didn't have a SD card or the right kind of card to save.
Oh no.
So I never got to get very far at all ever.
That's a shame.
Well, you can
Yeah.
finally play it again in the remake with Final Fantasy VII if you want. Not that I'm trying to sponsor it. But yeah, it's been really fun. I've been trying to not play it because they're making this a trilogy of games and not just one game. Because they decided to divvy up like 3 parts of the original game into 3 main games. So I was like put off by that, being like, well, I'm gonna have to wait like 10 plus years for this. So but we got the opportunity to play it, and it's really fun so far. I vaguely, it's very beautiful. It's very it looks very expensive. The game looks very well made. Really good. It's so interesting to see voice acting on these characters that I grew up with and never had a voice to them. So it's very interesting to meet characters and fleshed out characters too, that we've come to know over the years with the series. And what do you think about it, Witchley?
Oh yeah, it's really nice. I know I was dozing through it.
You were sleeping.
When I saw, I really liked.
It's okay.
He was surprised that I was sleeping through Sephiroth.
Yeah, Sephiroth was. I thought he'd be your boy.
He is, but I was tired.
You're tired. It's okay. But yeah, it's really fun, and we'll be playing more than over on our channel at some point. So you'll see that at some point come out. So yeah, that's my Weebly update. Is just I actually bought. They gave us a copy on Xbox. I also bought it on Switch, so to support them. But I also was already buying it to begin with until they said, "Hey, do you want to play the game?" So I was like, "Well, I already pre-ordered the game and it's already coming, so I can't say no to the copy I'm already getting." So I bought the game in support and got a free copy out of it.
For a completely different concept.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Buy one get one free.
exactly. So really fun. Go check it out on all platforms. I guess it's weird that I'm still sponsoring it and everything. It's funny.
You can't help it.
But yeah, that's my personal thing. Should we go over to the news?
Yes, we shall. Why don't you start us off, Crazed? I believe that there is a specific topic that you wanted to cover.
Yes, Netflix and MAPPA strengthen their strategic partnership, aiming to co-create a world-class animation studio model. So this was announced about like a week ago, as of the time of this recording, and they are both studio, like Netflix and MAPPA, who is MAPPA, if you don't know, has made acclaimed anime such as Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen, and they're collaborating with the company to work on new projects with a global perspective, from the story development to merchandise. And Netflix will exclusively stream a slate of original MAPPA produced anime titles to members worldwide. So they're kind of going global, which is very interesting.
Yeah. They're making some Netflix exclusives, but the Netflix exclusives aren't limited by region,
Yeah.
like other Netflix things can be, basically.
But yeah.
And Mappa's not. I mean, Mappa's has been working with Netflix on stuff. Recently, they have done Ranma and a Half over on Netflix, which is the remake of Ranma and a Half from the original 80s version, really. So they've been working with Netflix for a while on stuff. So this is not out of the norm, and so yeah, this is just them strengthening their partnership and going and doing new things. I'm interested to see what this entails, and they say new stuff.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that means they get to make some original content like what they did with Zenshu last year. Something new entirely. And I think that's great, like, I think this is a good thing. They could range from anything, and it's going to be interesting because Netflix is buying Warner Brothers, and can you imagine if Mappa could touch a DC film or something, or do something DC related? That would be insane. That's what I'm just thinking wider. I'm like thinking long term. I'm like, can you imagine if they made like a superhero show with the DC franchise? I'm just thinking that's a kind of cool idea. That's just me wishful thinking though. So do you guys have
There has
anything?
been Batman in like Japan and anime styles before.
Yeah, and they even did that Suicide Squad Isekai show as well. So it's not out of the norm for them
It's
to not do something
absolutely
crazy.
possible.
But yeah, I'm interested. Do you guys have any thoughts on the news?
Nope.
I mean, as long as it's not Mappa's not allowed to make anything unless it's exclusively for Netflix, then I'm all for it.
Well, we'll see what that entails.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, if it's just stuck on, I mean, so there's things stuck on Netflix you can only watch on Netflix, but with them Netflix getting bigger, especially with this Warner Brother acquisition, they're probably gonna have to go more global with, like, obviously releasing things in theaters finally, which they've been slowly doing. I mean, like, for instance, me and Witchley watched the Frankenstein movie a couple months back in theaters before the actual Netflix release. So they've been doing experiments with their movies and such, and it'd be interesting to see what they do.
I believe they mostly did that to get it eligible for the Oscars, didn't they?
I think that's the reason, but also I'm glad that we get this kind of thing. Like, I think they did that with Stranger Things this last season. They actually put the finale out in theaters.
Oh.
So I mean, I'm hoping they do more than. I'm hoping they just do more, than what they've already been set, like Miki saying, with exclusivity. But we'll see what that entails.
Indeed.
So
Gotcha.
that's my story.
All right. Well, Witchley, I believe you also have been given a little tidbit of news.
Indeed,
to
which
share.
I find is so interesting because Amazon and YouTube have already implemented this kind of stuff, but South Korea is making a law that AI has to be labeled, but aren't enforcing it yet. So
yeah, they've given like a year of like leeway.
I mean, that
weird.
is understandable because AI has been running rampant for quite a while now. It would take time to get everything
to
sorted.
mitigate it and everything. Yeah.
So a year leeway sounds pretty lenient to me, and it sounds fair. And everybody wants to like keep their AI creations or whatever up on the internet, then they have time to work on that. But yeah, it's interesting.
I hope that it gets enforced more than just South Korea, though.
Yeah, well, like
yeah, I'd very much like
with certain platforms, like YouTube. I don't know if they're like actually have it like really implemented yet or not, but you're not supposed to, if you have a successful AI channel, you're not supposed to be getting paid for it, or that at least they're in talks about making that a thing. Like you can't profit off it because it's AI.
Yeah.
Like, and Amazon, you see AI stuff all over Amazon. Like, and with like copyrights and stuff, you are not allowed to copyright AI stuff. So you can use it. That they would prefer you to be like transparent about using AI, but you don't own it, so anybody could use your AI stuff. Whether you've written an AI book because you didn't write it, whether you got like AI images on Amazon, like apparently you can make money off it. You don't own it, so anybody could use it.
Man,
that makes sense.
So it's nice thing that they're
This is
trying to
the
get something
crazy
like
time we live in.
it is.
Speaking of Amazon, I'm like doing another news thing. I totally forgot to mention, but they're gonna do that dub AI thing again. They're attempting to do it again, but they're bringing like creative help to mitigate it, or I guess like direct it. So they're putting people behind it while still doing the AI dubs, so it doesn't turn out
How does
the
that
same way.
work?
I
So
have
does
no
that mean
idea.
they're gonna have people like translate and write shit, or
I guess like mitigate it, make sure it doesn't look bad or sound bad at the end
Yeah,
of the
we're
day.
just
I don't know.
having some people look over it and edit it a little bit, but really, it's still AI. We're just
wow?
doing this to make you feel better about it. That's what I would assume.
I
Oh,
just
this
wish
is
Amazon learned and just stayed away from it because they got so
Yeah,
much shit
but
for
it's
it. But
big companies. Only money is the thing that matters.
that is so true. I like that their AI used for like their Alexa stuff because
mhm.
you can't really have like a real person doing all this shit for you. It's just not feasible.
The fucking like the little Dumbledore like 3D image. He can't stand around all day, can he? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, exactly. That is
He has a life,
exactly
you know.
right. He's got stuff to do.
It's like, sorry, Alexa's busy right now.
Nobody will ever get a hold of her.
Well, we'll see where AI leads. Is all I'm saying.
Yep. Last little bit of news, also related to AI, is that the San Diego Comic-Con is banning AI from their art show entirely. So
Good.
previously in like Comic-Cons and stuff, you could have AI art up as long as you're not directly selling it, you know?
Yeah.
But San Diego's like, no, don't even put it up. No AI. And
Brilliant.
I appreciate that greatly.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be like in every convention. I'm hoping in the future.
Yeah, I fucking hope so. The whole thing of a convention is that it's just a bunch of fans getting together, you know? It's about the love of the thing.
Yeah.
Don't get AI involved in that. We're
AI
celebrating
don't.
people's specific talents and love and shit.
Yes.
Yeah, and all their hard work too, because like we've all been to a convention at this point, so we understand. But they always have booths where that they sell artwork for. People put their time, money, sweat, and tears into it. And to make money off of it, of course, or some kind of profit. And especially when you go to Comic-Con or any convention entirely, I mean, you're putting yourself out there, and you're
Yeah.
putting in the work, and it sucks that people can just make money off of just slapping together Mario and Sonic kissing each other in AI.
Yeah.
I don't know why I specifically said those two
Yep.
things, but
It's just what you thought of, I guess. But yeah, I've heard it be compared to like putting in an order at a restaurant and then claiming you made the food.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah,
It's
because
like
I mean
in
that's
all
what
those
you're doing
old
with AI. You're
shows.
putting in a prompt, right? You're telling it, I want this, and then
Yeah.
it makes it.
I didn't
It
make
reminds
the
me
food.
of that one episode of I Love Lucy when Ricky is like trying to be the housewife and he couldn't make breakfast, so he secretly ordered some. And like Lucy comes in the kitchen and she's like, "Oh, this meal is so beautiful!" And he's like, "Thanks, yeah, I got up early and I made it all myself." And then she's like, "Ah, so that's why there's still these takeout boxes over here." This is hilarious. It's like I don't take credit for something you
Excellent.
didn't do.
Yeah, it's like when you do your grocery order. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't grab all the groceries. You just
I
had
just did
someone
the
else do
online
it.
part of it. Everybody else did the hard part.
All right, shall we head to the main
Excellent.
topic,
Yeah.
I believe we shall.
which is a review on Love Through a Prism. We last time we talked about this, we really loved it, and we let Migi try to finish it all up, and she had a chance to do that. And we're just gonna talk about Love Through a Prism, which is over on Netflix, made by Studio Wit, who is famous for the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan, Spy Family, So good pedigree there. So we're gonna
good pedigree.
yeah.
Yes, we're doing a dog show now.
Yeah. So we're gonna base it off our Weeby Simpin rating system that we did last time with Tokyo Godfathers. So we want to bring that back and use that for future reviews such as this. So let's go down the list through the score and talk about the setup. Now I will briefly give the setup and we can start from there. Okay. And we can chime
Sounds
in
perfect.
and if I missed anything. But Love Through a Prism is a youthful love story set in London, England, in the early 1900s. Lily Ichijoin, who aspires to be a painter and is transferring to an art school in London, made a promise to her parents that if she didn't get to the top spot at the school within 6 months, she would immediately return to Japan to run their family's kimono business. Lily meets Kit Church, upon the way in London, the son of a wealthy nobleman and a genius art student who is a troublemaker at his own pace, of course, and develops a burning rivalry with him. Kit, who was only interested in painting, also resonates with Lily's straightforward and pure feelings. Is that the best description I could give for the show?
That was a really good description.
So, what do we think about the setup?
Now, I don't know who you want to
So
go
the
first.
setup.
Miggy, I'll let you go first. Since it's more fresh in your mind since you just finished it.
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to note is I think that the setup part is probably the most, like, subjective rating because it's just how much it personally, like, kind of got to you, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like of the ratings, it's the most subjective, unless, of course, we're just talking about, like they didn't set it up well at all and the intro was a mess and blah, 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 there's definitely some not subjective parts, but like just the general intro of it. And I think personally, I would probably put it as a 4 because I don't know why it doesn't go to a 5 for me. I think it's usually because I'm more interested in like fantasy and adventure and sci-fi shit. Personally, I think that's probably why it's not a 5 for me because it's more like realistic romanticizedness, and the time period is usually not my favorite time period for things, and not because of aesthetic reasons or anything, but because historically there's just a lot of misogyny in history, you know what I mean? Like it just gets worse the further back you go, so I don't tend to like stories that are in time periods where it's just gonna be there, you know what I mean? And I think this anime did a very good job of not actually having it be there, which was amazing. It didn't seem like they were forcing it to not be there either, like they were faking that misogyny never existed. I don't like when they do that either, but I feel like they go around it very well. It's just not personally usually my favorite kind of setup, and therefore I would give it a 4 because all of the way that it's presented and put forward and everything is perfect. That's my personal opinion.
Now, with your star rating for the setup, I would honestly agree with the 4 stars. I don't think it's an amazing 5-star setup like other shows have had in the past, but like there is something, I don't know what exactly it is, that feels a little lacking, like in the beginning with the setup. It took me a couple episodes to like really get into the show, and then once I got in, I really got in. But like I love historical settings. I love seeing like you were like mentioning that they like the time, yes, is very misogynistic, but I love seeing it portrayed as like, hey, there's some progression here, and not everybody is a misogynistic asshole. There had to be good people back then too, right? Didn't think that way.
I do appreciate that.
So I like seeing that. And like, yeah, nothing's perfect. It is a beautiful like aesthetic. I love especially like fashion and architecture back then, and I love seeing that kind of stuff. So I'm a big fan of historical like fiction myself. I will read it. If it's since it's like fiction, I can like read anything. It doesn't matter the content because I understand it's just fiction. But I really like it. I think it is a good setup. How about you, Crazed?
I I think I'm in around the same boat as you guys. I really like historical settings. I like that it's even portrayed accurately. Because I mean we're gonna get into it, but this is very close to a certain world war conflict. If you don't know,
Mhm.
World War I, and very close to it. And I think that they handle that really well, at least in the area that they are in, which is England, and what that was like being in England at that time. And
It
um,
was like the tail end of the Edwardian era.
yeah, and I love the Edwardian period. I mean, like, I just love this Victorian Edwardian setting. Just the
Yeah,
slums of,
visually
yeah.
beautiful.
Wit Studios did an amazing job with the backdrop and everything looks amazing. And we'll get into it, but I love the artwork on some of the pieces that they talk about. I think it was really stunning, and just let me just I just like I was speechless on some of the artwork I saw. And I don't even know if any of it's real. I don't know if, like, did they actually make this stuff
I
themselves,
should
or
look into it.
so
I
yeah, it
mean, the
was.
only way it's not real is if it's AI, because
True.
otherwise, yeah,
Well,
that's real art
obviously.
that somebody made.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. With the setup and everything. I mean, you kind of they kind of do this thing, like you said. There's some lack there, and they kind of just put you in the shoes of someone who's never been to England. So, like, you're kind of just like I wouldn't say a blank slate, but you're kind of as clueless as she is, when she gets there.
Mm.
And I think they do a good job of her being lost immediately as soon as she walks out of that boat,
Yeah.
and she has no idea where to go. And she gets to the harbor. I guess I forget what they call it, the little, like, river bank,
Oh yeah, the
the
Thames.
The
Thames.
River Thames?
Yeah, the Thames. So it's like she gets lost to the Thames. She meets Kit. Obviously he offers her black bread.
Nightmares of black bread.
But then she finally gets to where she's going, and she gets to see the school. And I love the school setting. It's very. I would love to be there, just to explore the halls. That was really great to see. And I think they again, there's some lack, but I think they have a good setup. And I like that it's someone who is not from England, or even in that area. She's from Japan, and so what's that like?
Mhm.
And you can totally see her mannerisms and stuff that typical the typical Japanese person learns, that she gets to just implement into a different society. So I just thought that was so interesting. Put someone in a different environment and see what that's like. So I would agree. I think it's a 4.
Excellent.
Now,
Alright.
do we want to get into the intrigue, which I have written down? This is some of my opinions on it, and I can start off first. The intrigue.
Mhm.
Love through a prism sparks that creative drive and passion, reminding audiences about the importance of the arts and art history. The way art is incorporated throughout the anime series reminds me a lot of the anime Blue Period, which you can also watch on Netflix, which is about painting. Love Through a Prism explores and examines how these art students laugh, how they cry, and gain inspiration from each other. In a sense, it progressively paints an instructive picture for modern society and modern artists, urging them to highly value the human condition, regardless of where people are from or their social standing. Um, this is what I learned at the end of the show: is art supersedes all boundaries. Full stop. Right there. So
Yeah.
that's
Beautiful.
that's my interpretation on the intrigue of this story. Migi, back to you. What did you find intriguing about this? What did you glean from it?
Um, let's say the intrigue of this story. Well, I mean, I've had art part of my life my entire life. So mostly while I was watching this, I was like, yes, that is truly beautiful art, and that's good art. And then also I was judging the actual anime art all the time, being like, okay, they decided her nose was too high up there, and her eyes were too large in this frame. And I'm just like, okay, you don't do this for any other anime. Please stop. And it's like, I can't help it. They're literally judging art the whole time, and the anime is also art. So, I was judging that. And thinking about how very happy I am that while I've had art lessons, they've always been more like for fun or private tutors and not going to an art school that was going to put all that pressure on me because I'm like, ew, that would have been awful. I have already had to deal with perfectionism issues. I prefer getting over that myself and not making it worse with that kind of schooling. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I felt like the actual intrigue for me was more about like them actually following their personal dreams and desires rather than what society or their family was trying to force on them. And then of course the other intrigue of the whole mystery of, who the fuck is Kit was a big part of the intrigue of the story. And then it was, oh shit, they like each other. It was like, maybe he's not quite as weird as he was portrayed as in the very, very first parts. He has some depth to him. Okay, maybe I do ship them. Yeah, okay, they could be together. So, yeah, most of the intrigue was personal journeys and romance, you know?
Absolutely.
And I think they handled it rather well. It kept me interested the whole time. It was very sweet, and they had lots of nice little subplots, like the other Japanese guy whose sister couldn't talk and stuff, like interesting subplots. So I would say the intrigue was pretty good.
Yeah.
Witchley?
What about you, Witchley?
So yeah, similar intrigues with you both. I have to agree wholeheartedly. Yes, I love romantic stories. I love like character development, especially when that is like a major part of the plot. I like yeah, there's just a lot of good stuff. I have noticed things that like what Migi was mentioning with like the eyes being too large or the nose too high up and whatnot. So yeah, I did notice that throughout the show as well, and I just love how like you got into art critic mode about that because you being an artist too. And I love how this is a time where like art was still, I mean, you can see some Art Nouveau stuff there, but they're really focusing on like the fancy art that came before Art Nouveau.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody really has like, they're trying to express their creative freedom in a really old-fashioned way, and I find that really interesting for the time because like this is the time where we should be seeing more like Art Nouveau being like pasted everywhere. Nobody wants to do stuff that looks like a Da Vinci or that kind of level of art anymore because it's been like the people were taught that was like the only way you have to do art. Anything else is not art. But like we don't really see them getting to explore with other like styles in this anime, which I think
That's
I would
true.
loved. Yeah.
I know, we never got to see them make any kind of like Picasso weirdness, it was always
that would definitely
more
be it.
realism-y based, even if the colors were unique or something,
I remember Blue Period
know?
was doing something similar, not something similar, but something different to that effect, where it's like, oh, you can't just make the same thing that you just perfected. You have to branch out,
Yeah,
do different things
take
to
risks.
take risks, explore.
I think that's why I really loved this one. This is sort of stepping away from the intrigue, but it is a huge part of the intrigue.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one painting that Lily did? It was all white, and then the sun hits it the right way. I'm like, now this is like experimentation, but I was hoping to see.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's true art, like art museum,
or even
art.
her flip
That's
book.
What they meant.
The flip book was so cool, and like it blew everybody's mind. I mean, a lot of people were like telling her like, did you go off of this person that invented the flip book thing? And she's like, no, I
Yeah,
just
she didn't
did
even
it.
know about
She
it.
didn't
The
even
what
know
now?
about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like,
Yeah.
wow, she got very experimental by the end and
Yeah,
tried
and I
different
love
things.
seeing that.
So
So I wish we could have gotten more of that throughout
Mhm.
the whole show, but I love that we got a little taste of it. So
Well-
intrigue, really good.
what would you
Agreed.
rate it?
So I'm the first to rate it on intrigue, huh? I would give it a good.
A good?
Yes.
I would also say 4.
Oh man, I'm because like I really spoke to this, like we were talking about it last week, but like how what does it mean to be like, why do you paint? Like that's the biggest
Everybody
thing.
has their own reasons.
Yeah, why they're and you see that throughout the whole show. Like everybody has a reason to paint, and that's the same thing I was feeling when we just watched 100 meters. Why do you run? What's the purpose of this? And then we watch this show, and it's just asking this somewhat the same question, but it keeps getting me intrigued to see people's
So the message
inspirations.
of anime this year is, why do you do the thing you do?
Apparently, and it works for me. I
Why
don't know.
are you running?
It's just doing it for me. I don't know. It's just I get to see this passion, and I think that's the main intrigue of this show. Yes, there is romance. Yes, but I think at the end of the day, and
Mhm.
we'll get to it. We're gonna get to the end of the payoff, of course. But I think this whole show is about your passion, and
Yeah,
what
I
that's
agree.
and
Yeah.
why do you paint? And I think that's so beautiful by the end of the show of the entire show. So I'm giving it a 5. So we have to figure out where we want to put this now. But if you guys say 4,
I
let's
mean,
just
if we want, we could do a 4.5.
I was going to say that too. We could do a 4.5.
if you want to meet me halfway, or we can go by not seniority, but like by vote. If you guys say 4, let's just do 4. But I think it's a
feel
5.
like I can be swayed, but
I will.
I would like to do the middle ground of 4.5.
All right, let's do 4.5 then.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 4.5 on the intrigue scale on the chart. Now, this one we're onto the main characters. Obviously, the main characters being Lily and Kit, but there's also recurring supporting roles such as Dorothy Brown, her roommate,
Mhm.
a flatmate thing. We have Joffrey O'Brien, who gets to do the pub at the end, of course. We'll get there. Peter Anthony, who's that Indian. I thought he was such a great.
Yeah.
We have Sakura, we have Shinosuke. Those are the other Japanese people that can come into England. We have Charles Brent, who is the professor.
Oh yeah.
We have
And Catherine.
I was just about to say
Love
Catherine
Catherine.
Astor, which I have a lot to say about that. Richard Church and Henry Church. Man, Henry Church. Oh, and you can't forget Rebecca. Catherine's lady in waiting or
yeah.
whatever.
The pilot.
The pilot. So what I'm as much as I could keep talking.
Aphrodite. How dare you not mention Aphrodite?
Okay.
You're right, Aphrodite.
Sorry, I forgot about the horse. That Kit mentions.
It's very Martin, at first you think it's an insult, but it's actually a compliment.
Yeah, it is. It's
Well,
great.
at first you think it's a compliment, but it seems like an insult, and then later on in the show you find out it's actually a compliment.
Yeah, I feel like you got on a whole roller coaster with that.
So I know we could
Sure did.
we could talk about every single character here. I know we'd be here for another hour and a half, but do we have any highlights on somebody specifically? Migi, since this is still more fresh in your mind, I'll let you do first picks on maybe one or two characters that you found very interesting.
Well, I'm also thinking from a rating standpoint, just like kind of all of the characters. Like, were they well written in general? Did they have a lot of diversity of their own personal struggles and emotions and personalities and deep backgrounds and everything like that? And I think they did. They definitely did. Yeah. They all had their own struggles. We talked to pretty much all of them about things that mattered. We had sweet moments with them. We had sad or dark moments with some of them, but even ones that were supposed to be villains, we had moments with them where they weren't, you know? And everybody just felt very human, you know?
They did.
I agree. I loved every character here. You get a lot of, like you said, a lot of screen time with even the recurring roles, you know, and you get to see, for instance, like Peter Anthony have his struggles because he sees all his friends thriving in the art industry, or you know, with their projects and whatnot, and he's kind of at a crossroads right now where he's like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I'm not good enough, you know, kind of like imposter syndrome, you know. And he's seeing Kit, who is this naturally gifted person, and he's seeing all his other friends get these, you know, accolades and stuff. So it's nice seeing that.
Naturally, but probably a little autistic person.
I love seeing Lily's progression. Lily has such a great story throughout this whole series. You know, she's the main character, of course, and Kit. You know, that they're the main characters. You get to see Dorothy, her flatmate. You know, and her get to know Lily, and I love her otaku-ness about like being Japanese
Are you
and being
samurai?
are you a samurai or a ninja?
Oh, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. You must be a ninja.
And she keeps that going the entire show, and it doesn't get old.
Not to
it's
mention
so funny.
all of her siblings do the same thing.
Yeah. I also love Charles Brent. If I'm just gonna like start picking down people, but like I love the professor. At the beginning, it was kind of like, oh, he's such an annoying professor, but by the end, he's
like,
there
oh,
for
he's an annoying elitist jerk, and then it's like, actually, no, he's not.
Yeah, and he's like there for Lily. At
but every professor should be
exactly.
Honestly.
And I have to talk about Catherine. I love what they did with Catherine. This enemy, frenemy,
I feel like she
arch
was
nemesis.
the real Zuko of this.
Yeah, she's the Zuko of the show. Like, she's painted as this character who's supposed to marry into wealth. You know, marry into
she's wealthy.
And she's wealthy already, but she's supposed to marry this duke. And that's all she's known all her life. And I love how she gets to connect with Lily through the painting that she commissions, and she just starts realizing, like, am I more than just the wife, someone's wife, you know, like, and she gets to start realizing, oh, I love dresses.
She loves fashion.
Fashion.
Honestly, she was a villain until she was really shown that she had agency over her life at all. It was, in a way, a very important kind of lesson of how women have been treated historically, of like this idea that you don't get to think of what you actually like personally and want to do with your life. It's just that these are the things that are planned and that's what's expected to do. And you don't really get to be a whole person yourself. So it was like a nice way to show, no, it's important to really be your own person and discover yourself.
She found that through Lily. I think that's such a great.
She immediately became a nice person.
Yeah,
she just became a nice person.
She was liberated.
Yeah, she was free, especially from after she cuts off the engagement, and then she like defends Lily. She's like, "You will not talk to my friend like that." Especially when she gets to wear the kimono. I just love that scene where she brought her a kimono and they want to be friends, and like that. And I love her hugging her and being like, "You're my first true friend." And I was like, "Oh, that hits me in the feels." Yeah. And I have to talk also.
Cute.
The last person I do want to talk about is Henry Church. Obviously, Kit Church's father. He's a DILF. Just gonna say that front.
Yeah. Oh, crazed. You're into older men, I see.
He was very refined.
He was a very super sweet, handsome man. I get it.
and I love seeing.
He was so nice.
Yes.
And I love seeing what stuff of who Henry is inside Kit. You know, like him being a painter because of Henry painting, all his life. And Henry Kit wanted to be that too. And like, I love that flashback scene after his passing. Obviously, Henry dies. It's sad. But you see that whole flashback scene at the tree, the big tree, and him painting everybody, and even his wife. And I just love their relationship. And I was like, oh man, I would have loved to see more of that. and how he traveled the world to paint and to learn how to paint and paint different things. I thought that was so beautiful. So really good characters.
Yep.
5 stars for me.
Yeah, no, I'd have to say the way the characters are written with their amount of depth and kind of realism and variation between all of them, I think I'd have to say a 5.
Witchley, is there
Agreed.
anyone else you want to highlight that I missed?
I would have said the same thing about the characters you talked about, but I will say is that yes, everybody feels really human. Everybody has their faults, and like yeah,
They're
that makes
likable, they're hateable, they're
likable. They're
relatable, not
frustrating
relatable.
moments and all that.
We can
So
get into
they're
that. I
just-
mean, like, we didn't get to talk about Kit and Lily a lot. You can talk about Kit and Lily. I know there's some frustrating parts with Kit and Lily.
like,
See, I
mostly
feel like
with
that's
Lily
more
for
a
me,
part of the
but
payoff.
That I was
You're gonna save that? Okay.
so
No worries.
it was like
Yeah.
I understand.
So, but
it's
I think
supposed
as
to
far
build
as
up
the
emotions,
characters,
but
as far as the characters, I think a 5. Chris thinks
Yeah.
a 5. What do
I
you think
think
of
a
Witchley?
5 as well. I would have said that earlier,
I-
but I only just now got a chance to talk about it. So yeah, 5.
All right, and
5 by 5.
I guess the payoff, which is the culmination of the story, you know. And I know we were talking about art and
I'm gonna
passion.
rage bait you just for a second. I want to give it a fucking 3.
Okay, explain.
So, very, very happily and nicely, her and Kit do end up together in the very, very end. However, there is so much fucking turmoil between even just the middling end and then that I got so frustrated and depressed. I was just like, okay, the payoff wasn't like a big satisfying enough to have gone through all of that shit to me. All the things that they went through, the disappearing, the thinking he's dead, the depression so bad that the world is black and white, this guy that actually does love her is going to finally get to marry her, but he knows that she doesn't really love him, and then Kid is actually back to life, and maybe he's not going to marry her, I guess, and then like they're not going to follow their dreams, they are going to follow their dreams. Kid found them, and he's leaving again. And it was just, I'll give it this. It was very real life. This shit happens, but that's what made it horrible to me. It was this is so real life that you feel the depression. It's like, I don't need more depression in my life. Real life does in fact suck. Thank you for showcasing this yet again. There is so much depression. Please don't give me more. And then, they get together and they finally travel and stuff, but it's just they just went through so much. And while they were separated, like after Kit first met them in Japan and then left, he's going off and doing these adventures and having fun while she's still kind of abandoned and like sad for a while before she can do her thing. And I was realizing that's actually a thing that gets to me with a lot of rom-com kind of tropes that feels like not quite a personal attack, but kind of hurtful, maybe slightly misogynistic, of this idea that the guy can still be having a fulfilling life and adventure and fun, but the girl will have absolute breakdown depression. She's not allowed to like even fucking be. She's just suffering abandonment. You know what I mean? And I didn't like that being showcased there too. And so for me, the payoff just was so marred by all of the obstacles to get there that it wasn't as satisfying as it could have been.
No, I do sort of agree with that a bit. She was a total Isabella Swan, and not completely because she chose to be, but because of the war breaking out and all that kind of shit. But no, like, yeah, I feel like I would have like a little bit of that is okay because your life got turned upside down with thanks to the whole war, and you never got to get the words out that you wanted to tell the person you loved that you loved them, whatever. But life goes on. This was 5 years after the fact, and I was like, I was annoyed by that. It totally struck me as like Bella from Twilight. I was like, oh my gosh, you're just wasting paper now. But Like, yeah, I did like how it was all black and white and she had to re-find her passion, but I felt like she could have done that so much sooner, and maybe her she didn't have to like get into like agree to marry Shin. She could have found her own passion again in Japan and still run the boutique shop with her parents and be an artist and follow her passion, and then her reunion with Kit could have been this amazing thing, and then they could have gone off together because he got her a freaking like passport ticket thing. So yeah,
I know.
I wouldn't.
Did she just let go, flow into the breeze,
Yeah,
gives
well,
up immediately after
because
one day? It's like,
see, I felt like that was like a way for Kit to like let her go because she was marrying another man and he could never have her at this point. So kudos for him for actually moving on with his life. But Jesus, I wish a woman could do the same thing in this situation. So for me, that
right?
bumps this whole thing down to a 4. I wouldn't put it at a 3 because I still really loved all the payoff and everything. But I wish we could have got. It could have been different. It could have been better. But yeah, overall, it doesn't like destroy the payoff for me so bad that I'm like, it was just good. I still got what I
I
wanted.
felt personally injured.
And see, that's okay.
Yep.
So yeah,
But
I
anyway,
think
Craig, now we need to hear from you. The women have spoken.
This
What did you think?
is so interesting hearing your guys' side of this thing. Just because I mean, I took it a different way at the end. You know, I will say the 5-year jump does kind of put it at a slower pace. Like it just kind of just full break stop. You know, um, that did kind of knock it down for me a bit. But I do love what they were telling and what they were showing. I love the black and white sequences. I thought they were such an interesting way to portray to her that her world is dulled. It's
her
no
passion's been
her
lost.
passion is gone, and not just because of Kit. I think
No.
it's more than just Kit. It was the war. It was losing her friends. The life that she was building in the UK, in London, is gone. She doesn't know she'll ever have that again. And so this
Yeah.
was, and it's, and you can see that in her where she's like, even Shin is like, do you want to paint again? And she's like, no, I'm good. It's just too hurtful, you know. It's just too
It's just-
painful. And
Artistically, it was great.
yes,
It was great to have the black and white.
yeah,
Yeah.
Especially when Kit came back for that little bit of moment and brought a little bit of hope back, and then she could see the color of the blue paint that he had
Yeah.
given her.
you know,
Like, that was emotional.
yeah,
That was a good
I
that was a good
love,
moment.
yeah, and it did, but it didn't fix anything yet. You know, like it was just it was a glimmer, and I love when she finally paints again and puts all her effort and passion back into that brush. Is when the colors come back, and it's, and I think,
Yeah.
and I think at the end of the day, yes, this is a romance. I'm glad they got together at the end. I love it. I thought it was great. They showed way more than I thought. Like I didn't know they were going to do the end credit scene where they're painting in the cave. I thought that was awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It was so good.
Yeah, and
I
they're exploring the world together. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get to see the painting at the end, and she's in the photo and in the painting, and I was like, that's so beautiful. I thought they were going to stop at the quote, you know, that he had in the notebook, being like, "Don't forget to bring your paint, your blue," and then
Mhm.
she's like, "I brought it. Can you take me there?" And I'm like, "Oh, so good." But I think it was more, and like I said at the beginning, you know, with the intrigue, I think it's about passion. It's about finding art, you know, and art doesn't have those boundaries. And I think she found that through all the turmoil she gets through. I know it's tough. There are moments when I was a little frustrated too. I know you guys were both frustrated with Lily's decision making and Kit's decision making too. I mean, he kind of just ghosted everybody.
He did, but he's always the quiet type, and
Yeah.
He was struggling between like his duties and the things he wanted, and I think he self-destructed a bit.
Yeah, and then
He did.
and he
And then
pushed,
the war happened.
Yeah.
and yeah, and he pushed everyone away from that because I think he didn't know if he would make it out on the other side of this
Oh, yeah,
this
true,
war.
if you're gonna be fighting in it.
Yeah, so I understand
Which-
why he pushed people away, but it was a dick move. And then Lily's, you know, frustrating, you know, attitude and stuff that we love about her, but she's saying the wrong things at the wrong time.
She knows what she wants to say. She
Yeah.
just can't say it.
And I think it's and I know she could have said I love you to him, but I love the fact that she finally says it to herself, that I love you. But she had to say, she's never once said it until that
she's
moment.
never admitted it.
And I thought that was so
Yeah.
like her finally admitting it to herself, that, and out loud to everybody else except Kit, of course, but saying I love you, I love Kit, I love him, and her finally realizing that, and that's when the colors fade, or that's when it's gone at that point, because like that was, and she's losing everything at that moment. She's not just losing Kit, she's losing her life that she left. She's going back to Japan. She has no choice but to go back to Japan. I mean,
Right, it didn't even matter that she got first.
Yeah.
So I took it an entirely different way, and I think it's
I understood it the way you did, but from like my feeling standpoint,
Mhm.
if I was in Lily's shoes, I would have said I would have learned after my first time bitching about, like, I'd be like, hey, yeah, that's not what I wanted to say. I'm determined to tell him the next time. But like it's like so frustrating because she had all the chances in
she
that
did.
long
She
run,
definitely had all the
but all
chances.
she couldn't resist but to bitch one last time. And that's
One last fuck you.
That's not their last interaction for 5 years.
And I will say 5 years, that did detract it from me. I was like, really, 5 years?
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
like
that
maybe a
seemed too
couple, but
long.
yeah, it just
Yeah.
seemed like a little long. But I still like the direction they went. I like that Shin got to go back to doing what he loved to do, which is sculpting. I loved Lily finally
True.
having the passion back to go back to Japan, go back to London, with her parents' blessing. I love her parents, by the way. Even her mom, even by the end, and just going back there and setting up a boutique store there, but also putting in the effort into designing, making more
Yeah.
art, and it's thanks to Catherine's
She
help
had a
too.
real smart moment.
Yeah.
And it's thanks to Catherine
Yeah,
who
she had a
helps
real
her.
smart yeah, and Catherine yep. I'm sorry, I'm just talking right over
You're
you.
good, no worries.
Just like just Lily just had like a really smart moment, basically kind of manipulating her mother into agreeing. It's like, wait a minute, I can connect this to the business. Ha ha ha. You
We
know?
can
It's
expand.
brilliant.
And it works,
Uh-huh.
and I like that she spends time sort of by herself, but with her friends that she gets to go back to.
Yeah, she's not instantly with Kit.
Yeah, she's not, and I love that. I love
Yeah.
that she spent time
She's rebuilding her
life, rebuilding her passion, because you can even see it in the first artwork that she makes after 5 years, to be like, okay, it wasn't the best, and my professor would shit on me for it, and I've lost my touch, and I need to find that again. And I think that's brilliant that it took another 2 years, I think, is another like kind of montage, where she's finally just painting on
Yeah.
the shore where they made that promise,
Yeah.
and him finally being there, and them
It took
proclaim-
them so long
It
to
took
get
them
together. 7
It took
years.
them forever.
but
Yeah, it was for fucking ever.
Yeah.
I know you guys wanted them to be together immediately.
No,
I think
there's gotta be that build up, okay?
with a little build up, but I love the pace to it, and I think it paid off in the end. So I think this
Yeah,
is a
so
4 for me.
yeah, so I'm just gonna state, it wasn't to me like it wasn't like everything was about their romance, but they
Exactly.
made it seem like that was the ultimate goal, and like, yeah, her whole life fell apart and she became depressed, but they made it seem like it was almost exclusively because of Kit and his maybe being dead that she actually truly became the world is black and white depressed. So they made it seem like for her to have her real happiness, she needs to get with Kit. You know, she needs to be with him. And then they just withheld her happiness the whole time, basically, is kind of what it felt like.
No, I
You know what I
see
mean?
that.
Like
It's
if she'd been able to still paint and enjoy things without Kit being there, but was still a little bit sad, then I wouldn't have been as annoyed. You know what I mean? Like, because, yeah, I think ultimately the show was really supposed to be about art and everybody's passion for their personal lives, you know? But they made it feel like Kit was the ultimate goal, you know, at the end.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? Like,
it totally
it's not
does.
usually my thing to be obsessed about that, but they made it feel like that's what it was supposed to be,
Yeah.
and that they were supposed to be together, and that things just kept not working.
Yeah, I totally got that too. But like on reflection of like the whole show and us talking about it tonight, I have come to see that she was really like independent through most of the show, and how
Mhm.
we talked about how she was building a life there and making friends. Like I think they could have done a better job at portraying that it was so much more than just Kit in that moment. Where I think that was like their message all along, but like they didn't do a good job actually portraying that. It made it feel like it was all Kit. But when he returned, she only got the flash of color. It didn't return, and that's like I think a good time when
True.
you moment where you realize it wasn't just Kit. That's
Mhm.
not the only thing she was
Yeah.
needing. But yeah, I mean, I can
No,
relate.
the color was really back when she was in England with
Yeah,
Catherine and friends.
yeah,
That's true.
Well,
I
the
can
color came
relate.
back when she finished that painting finally, and she found that passion to pour
Mhm.
herself back in. That's when the color came back.
Yeah, but I can relate
Mhm.
losing my
That's
passion
true.
for art.
Hmm.
Because loss makes you not want to do anything.
Hmm.
And I've come to
Mhm.
realize after a big loss many years ago, I haven't actually seriously drawn or did anything artistic like that since. And watching the show really made me realize that. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's been over like 6 years now since I've last expressed myself that way. And I know I'm gonna
Oh.
suck if I try to do it again, but like it might be fun to try to dabble in it at some point.
And that's a very human thing. I mean, you see that with Lily too,
Yeah,
where she's
yeah.
like, "Is
That's
this
why I
gonna
was
be?"
saying I can actually sort of relate to that a
Yeah,
bit because, like, yeah, loss is a hard thing.
and maybe
She lost so much.
she lost way more than just Kit, and I think Kit being presumed dead is what kind of sunk her even further, because there was that
Yeah,
glimmer of
Mhm.
hope that, oh, he's gonna be okay. And yeah, I can I can see what you guys are talking about, feeling like it was a romance,
yeah.
with Kit,
They didn't display it well enough. I
but
think.
by the end, I interpreted it
Yeah.
as her passion. She lost her passion, and she regained it. She regained it herself, not through anybody else.
Yeah.
By the end, and I think that's beautiful.
True.
And yeah, they get together at the end, and
Yeah.
I think that's a nice little carrot on top, of a little frosting on top. I don't know
Carrot
what
on
I'm gonna.
Should
top.
be like a
Okay,
cherry.
it's a carrot cake.
Yes.
Plus carrot on top.
Or we can go back to the flat landlord, with the pie and the awful fish. It's the fish on the pie. Okay.
Fish on the
Ew.
pie.
the
No
gross
sardine pie,
the
thank
gross
you.
fish on the pie. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
so I
but thinking of the ending from more of that depth, yeah, I could say a 4. If it was
ooh.
only about Kit and all that shit, it's a 3.
Understandable. Yeah, I would have to agree with that, but yeah, I definitely see it as something much
So
more.
we moved Miki to a 4.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
4 it is.
All right, so that is our simp talk on on Love Through a Prism. Where is the score at the end of this now? Miki, would you do the honors?
Love is a Prism is 4.4.
Hey, that was awesome.
Yeah, you can tell we really loved this and also hated it to a certain degree. We were frustrated on some things, but I think I love the message. I think we all love the message by the end of this, and I think we just needed a little bit of a romantic, artistic anime in our life, and I was not expecting this one for 2026. So I'm gonna be thinking about this one, and I know everyone here is gonna be thinking about this, especially you, Wishley.
Yeah, I
You
thought
were.
of it like right after we watched it. That Then, like, after I said my spiel our last episode, I was able to, like, get over it.
These were our thoughts and opinions on Love Through a Prism. Let us know down below what you guys think of Love Through a Prism if you've watched it.
And don't forget, of course, that you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and even cool merch on Redbubble.
If you've got any questions, comments, concerns, or thoughts for us, you can reach us at weebesimpinpodcast@gmail.com.
And that's a podcast.
So as we always say,
Ja mate.